afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero, Psych Defender of the Fatherland. We're off here to 2 vs 2 on a map from a recent 2 vs 2 competition that's still ongoing. Relic, I believe, organised it. It is the 2 vs 2 map contest. Map's called the Eastern Striking Sheld, or Eastern Sheld Striking, I don't know, some combination of the words Eastern Sheld Striking, what have you, and it is also played in the Fall Balance preview as well. So two sort of not finished things here being highlighted, but again could be in the final game. So in the north we got Bene fighting here for the Americans, the United States of America here for the 19th Division, supporting the 11th Armored under the command of old Shatterhand. Versus in the south we got Hooligan and Lieutenant fighting for Germany, Deutschland with the Oberkommando and the Wehrmacht, forming up the 107th Panzer Brigade. We got infantry here for Bene with old Shatterhand with Commando, Special Weapons and Vanguard, versus Encirclement, Storm and Mechanized for Hooligan, and Elite Armored, Fortifications and Breakthrough for Lieutenant, with a mix of infantry, machine gun and support weapon bulletins there going on for all sides. Got an info 2 for Hooligan is moving down the southwest side here. Lieutenant moving up the centre, we got the Americans and the British also heading down there. We can see quickly moving for the centre victory point here with sandbags and machine guns being laid down. The map has some interesting features that at the same time it can feel a bit claustrophobic in some ways, and rather to that way it reminds me of some of the less good 2 vs 2 maps which had a tendency of just falling into being a series of small narrow bits where people can just sort of choke down a lot of choke points with no real sort of room for manoeuvre, except maybe here in the east, which sort of seems more open, opens up for more actual flanking parts if it comes to the west, where while there is some shot blockers here and says to make it a bit harder, at the same time it's just one very narrow lane. So I'm not a particularly huge fan of the western side, particularly we'll have to see how that works out. We got double section Vickers there for old Shatterhand, Bene there with infantry, triple rifleman, Hooligan, double grenadier 74-2, and Lieutenant here with double full scores and a Sturm Pioneer scored alongside the Kuwait and east was there, heading straight for this small island here, which the purpose exactly evades me, seems to be some kind of loading dock-ish thing, I don't know. No idea, maybe a power plant. In the far west here, there's Sturm Pioneer, or just regular Pioneer 74-2 fighting about here. We got sectional flank up behind it using the small bridge here, getting behind the German lines. Very good work there by old Shatterhand. Hooligans assault there collapses. At the same time, companies finding invested Vickers in the centre. Got force moving up here as well. In the south, they're pointing secured. Also, noting interesting setup of the fuel points. Grenadiers here under fire from the Vickers machine gun. Slowly suppressed. Force moving up, they're pushing back the riflemen. And down here, Sturm Pioneer is also hanging about. One thing I actually don't like, if you sort of look at the map here, most of the vital resources are just all highlighted right here within one small quadrant of the map. I mean, just think about it. Right here you have 2 fuel points and 2 victory points. Whereas like the rest of the map there has 2 munitions and 1 victory point. I'd probably suggest that whoever made this map that needs to be slightly changed a bit if possible, because that area just feels like it's just also being put into the smallest, narrowest part of the map. Not very good map design. It's just encouraging sort of mindless grinding and such. There's not a lot of manoeuvre. That's definitely not, you know, map that gets a thumbs up for me on that one. Anyways, triple grenadier 74-2 there for Hooligan. Tech up there for Lieutenant. Rifleman pushing up the west side there. Well, in the east we got full grenadiers for Zerations there. Quickly falling back across the waters here, the icy cold waters. Ach, mine socks of it. And so is the only socks I have. Scheiße. Rationing socks is not fun. So we got Tech up there for old Shatterhand, Sabbath on the way. We got Lieutenant on the way for Bene. So both allied players they're having for the more aggressive play versus the Germans, who are so far not quite heading into something aggressively there. Truck waiting, and there goes going to be battle group headquarters for Lieutenant. Hooligan has taken up, but he's more concerned with a medic bunker. Push up the west side there. Rifleman actually in a pretty good position there to a certain extent to fight the Germans along the MD4 doing set up a pretty nasty angle, but the 7th retreat. In fact, he's making a mistake here. Hooligan moving up close to the Rifleman, up close with the Grenadiers. I mean, that's not really where the Grenadiers fare well. So we got Pioneers around there. They should probably be following up first before the Grenadiers rather than, you know, everything else. We've got the M4 sitting up here. Pioneers charging with MP40s, dashing those Americans, and there you go, pushing away in the east here. We also got Bene finding as well. There perhaps Bene, I think, extending his grasp there a bit much. In this case, allows Lieutenant, I think, just easily focus things down and just break through there. We got a mortar placement set up here around the fuel point and the central victory point there. German infantry continuing up the eastern side. Der 107th Panzer Brigade advances für Führer und Vaterland. Vorwärts! Die müssen die Armies und die Tommies zerstören. Zerstören? Ja. There you go. Mortar placement up. Obviously, again, requires an upgrade to be fully effective. Got a mortar out there for Hooligan. And in forward step for the CoH2 point. Gun is moving in there. Section moving up with no grenades, and they're going to push back the machine gun here by the centre victory point. Pioneers wiped, a bit of a loss. At the same time, we've got a deeper flank here from Lieutenant. Eastern side now very open. In fact, opening up for a lot of flanking opportunities through here. But again, due to the way, you know, all of the resources are anchored here in the west, there might not be quite a huge incentive for actually trying to flank through these. So again, I feel like there probably needs to be some rejiggering of either the resources or the victory points. Something I think needs to be slightly shifted more towards the east. Not necessarily both victory points and fuel points, but you know, either of them I think when you know have some benefits, then open up for some more interesting gameplay. Good is getting lieutenants to push up through the centre here. Past rows of bicycles, possibly seized by the German army, which actually caused some pretty big issues in Holland when they basically tried to confiscate every bike for both military usages, as they obviously were running out of trucks and thus needed bikes instead to mobilise their Panzer Grenadiers and the likes. We got an M20 rolling down here for Bene, and the 19th Infantry Division also securing the central munition point here with a swift assault. German infantry falling back here, and the eastern side here, by the harbour side, we got Sturm Pioneer Rifle and Kuban dealing with the rifle squad there. That's going to be a loss there for Bene. On the west, M20 with infantry support here, overwhelming Hooligans machine gun crew force on the way, almost getting a wipe there. Almost doesn't quite count. More supporting a push there. We got bigger push here. We're fully supported by a flak half track, 2 centimeter flak fire, raining death down upon the Allies. Almost wiping out the rifle squad there as well. Heavy fire there. At the same time, M20 considers the pressure up here through the western flank. The Germans certainly be on the defensive here on the western side. Though again, eastward, Lieutenant is making good progress there for Germany. Mortar emplacement has yet to be upgraded, so it's got one mortar tube there to deliver death from above. Ooh, section there white, bit of a loss for old Shatterhand. Flak half track advances, Kuban securing the centre munitions point. Western points then being secured, threatening the fuel point of the German players. That mortar fire there. Hooligan with the light making us company falling going up, and we got the Kuban there knocked out by an anti-tank gun, absorbing a hit there for the flak half track. And still no upgrades on the mortar emplacement. Does have the resources, not a huge upgrade. Finding a centre of flak off the square there, got smoke coming up, we got Sturm Pass crawling through here the eastern roads, but they already low in health. Bakers they're laying down suppressor fire against the forces they're trying to salvage here. And ooh, the smoke there from the flak half track I think sort of allows them to salvage the Kugelwagen wreck there. And overall a safe retreat there. Going to lose the M20 section falling slightly back, but without any sort of serious anti-tank here, the M20 is going to be a bit tricky for them to deal with, particularly since like down anti-tank mines. Any sort of light vehicle that might try and rush it is going to have a very bad time. Except in this case though, Hooligan, having seen no actual M20 updates, assuming there might be mines, in this case he makes a very right call there with the minesweepers. Very right. Mortar emplacement that being fixed up, still no upgrades. Eastern side a bit more back and forth there. Half track on the way there for Hooligan and the 107th Panzer Brigade. Gonna continue to fight out. We got mortar fire raining down. Roughing it, landing a good hit there. And advance up here past the train wreckage. Lone section there versus going to use Pioneers. No real cover there except the light cover. That should be the advantage of the Germans. And there you go. Old Shatterhand realizes this and retreats. Bene there suffering losses. Old Shatterhand's in the stronger one on the two at the moment in terms of just raw force size. We've got the 250 half take out there for Hooligan. Fun fact, the infantry battalion of a Panzer Brigade would have been fully equipped for the half tracks of the later series, which was I think roughly one from the 1 and 10 of Panzer Brigades, though had to make do with trucks into running out of half tracks. You also had to keep the Panzer divisions a bit supplied as well, so they were largely more truck borne. But the early ones, like for example 107th, would have been fully equipped with half tracks. And even flak half tracks as a fun fact. Overall, in fact, the Oberkommando West very much reflects a Panzer Brigade in terms of what was available in terms of equipment. Fun note there. Sturm Pioneers flanking though, except for the lack of regular half tracks. Even transport trucks, and there's still very mobile elements. That's sort of the fun one there. Mortar plates still not upgraded, taking heavy fire there though. Mortar fire Sturm Pioneer fire out there. We got Lieutenant Wing West for 720 being fixed up. Not a back and forth here. And there we go, moving the flank half track straight up to just engage the Morton plate head on. There we go, bracing up. And dealt with. The nerfs there, certainly punishing a Morton plate, but not well set up there. A bit more than usual, which is good. Sent security here by the German army. We got the flak half tank falling back here. Rather aggressive. We also got the 251 half tank moving about. Ready to support any German infantry that needs it. We got a 2-2 on the way there for Hooligan, while he's also taking up, moving on for the Panthers. Trying to bring up there. We got anti-tank on the way there for Bene. It's also now slowly growing again. For old Shatterhand, we got a lot of infantry. We got bolts at sections. No sign of vehicles for him. In fact, we need to take up ahead. In fact, going for medium armor as soon as possible, which I think would be a really good idea there for old Shatterhand. Right hand side, those completely falling into the German army's controllers. They're focusing everything on the centre here. Need carefully the Allies do not fall into any sort of fear syndrome. Road bridge here, by the way, more or less ignored, even been mined here by the Allies just in case the Germans decide to take the road, or the bridge. After moving slowly ahead here, infantry moving up behind the wreckage of the trains, half attack falling back, got the 2-2 moving in, more to their supporting as well. And we got a German force squad here using the maze-like runes to quickly flank behind. In this case, worth stop in time here, almost actually. Victor Penny was not able to suppress them, but that's probably because they advanced through cover, which is a good tactic, by the way. But there you go, folks, being pushed back, taking heavy damage. It could risk a swipe there, but might not happen. We also got a light infantry gunner finding further support for the 107th Panther Brigade. One thing Panther Brigade still were short on was actually artillery. At most they had mortars and maybe some Stukas or Fussers. They did not have any light infantry guns or any heavier howitzers or anything like that. That was one of their bigger deficiencies. We have Panther Corps going up east here to cover that area for the Lieutenant and the 107th Panzer Brigade. Small mechanised column moving up here. Flame for half take up for Hooligan. Would have preferred he kept it unupgraded. Support infantry probably done more good because right now it's being held down. Can't do any supporting anyways. And you've got armor piercing rounds flying at it. Now he's going to lose the 2-2. Kaput. Now good assault there by Hooligan. I mean, overall, this is not the best spot to attack through unless you actually got smoke screens and his mortars all the way far behind here. He wants to just make a sort of head-on dash. They would better off served in the east side, which again, due to the size and the nature of it, opens up a lot better for like dash assaults, whereas this one is very much more concentrated set piece attacks you want to make in the west. And Hooligan, at least for now, does not strike me as, you know, a set piece attacker. No sign of armor there from either player as of yet. Shatterhand though has ticked up, that is good. As for Bene, we've got no sign of the mate. In fact, he's going for a pack howitzer first. Continue to press here, Grenadiers being assaulted by the Captain. Morton needs to reposition. But we got Hartened Panzer Grenadier here of the 107th Panzer Brigade. Ready to support the Truppen. There you go, catching a 50 cover. They can get close enough to pop up one grenade first. Might have a chance, there we go. Gewaltladung. Otto! Get it! Yeah! You did it, Otto, but we're all suppressed now, so we can't follow up. Except if the Americans run like the cowards they are. In the centre there, we got just a real bit of a war of silent attrition here. Heavy fighting for the centre there between Old Shatterhand and the Germans. Old Shatterhand should probably consider upgrading his sections either with grenades or with Bren guns to really sort of fight here more properly, because otherwise he's just sort of not getting anywhere very seriously. We've got Lieutenant Wadsmore charging in with full screens with assault rifles, ready to clear the streets of any British rats. Mine goes off there, halting the grenades from flanking in. Now that's actually a nice attempt there by Hooligan. Got Panzers hiding behind the old train wreckage there. Continue fighting here in the centre and attacking cleared out. We also get a bit more harassment here in the east. Good work by Lieutenant. We got Shatterhand and Bene hiding something there in the east as well. They certainly seem to be struggling a bit here with the eastern sides of the map, though even on the west side again. They are struggling a bit there versus the German army. Here we got Lieutenant pushing up, though clearly wiping out a few units there. Light infantry going down, but we've got no anti-tank support for them, so they have no way up to dealing with either the flak half-track or the flamethrower half-track. BN44 there focusing air fire from the Vickers, covering the centre. Cromwell on the way for old Shatterhand, that is good. He should probably try and rush out armour faster than this, to be honest. They also think should put more effort into the eastern side of the map. But oh well. Still one big mistake again, I feel like old Shatterhand's command again, he's just not doing anything with his infantry in terms of further upgrades. He's just bolted them, but there's been no, things he could further benefit from. And to tank moving up, they've got the M20 versus the Flamethrower half-track. Mortify joining us. Well, they almost got it, in fact. Grenadier crawling through here the narrow streets there. A road. I think it's a part, though it looks like a part of sorts. Cromwell arriving there, so we got the first tank out. It's going to be for the British. Bene there, going for the major now. Does his good. And here in these, we've got the rear sons versus the orbital soldaten and the flak half-track, hardened German infantry. Men who have seen a lot of combat. Advance. And here Glennis again trying to flank, so he's now suddenly catching on to this. These are just probably most likely players playing this for the first time. So there's obviously going to be some occasionally weirder play, because playing on a new map can lead to some, shall we say, occasionally weird decisions if you're not entirely sure how to play on that, and that can actually be a big factor. But there you go, Cromwell charging through here, saving the sappers in the east there as the overwhelmingly powerful Raketenwerfer. But there you go, the opposite, probably the bigger threat there also falls away, but the Cromwell as it fires its 75mm cannon, hoping to annihilate any Germans in front of it. And there you go. Oh well, shattered instead. Well, that went well. Shut up, Perkins. I'll have your tea ration taken away from you. You monster, you wouldn't. I would, Perkins. I would. I'm trying to there falling back. Engaging the Schwer Panther course, not a bad idea, though. Bit risky with the medium tank head on, but still should work out there. We probably benefit from more armor. Flak half-tacting hits there. Got 2 center flak. The blast when he pulls back, probably due to the threat of Panther Faust. He doesn't want to risk him being immobilized or just stuck. And then the anti-tank weapon sits there. So he's, in this case, choosing not to underestimate his opponent, which I think is the right decision there by old Shatterhand. And the West fighting continues over here, but it's overall just German dominated once it sort of really dug in there with Panzer grenades and the likes here. And again, that's also perhaps highlights a bit the weakness of it. But then again, the Allies are never really committing anything big. They're not sending close quarter troops of their own, not getting any upgraded troops in, and they're not, say, laying down smoke screen releases to open up for some better advances there. So, I mean, they could definitely, do things better there tactically. Cromwell advancing, trying to catch the forces there by the old power plant. 20 charging forwards without any real support there. You got a flank pushing out to cover the flank. Who's being slowly pushed back there. And Lieutenant here flanking in from the rope bridge, getting behind it. That was actually a pretty well executed assault there in the end by Bene. Fully well executed, but yeah, actually kind of worked out. They're collapsing the German positions on the Western Park. Let's push back here with the Vickers machine gun in the centre. Got Pascal coming up here through the munitions in the centre. And here, a bit of fallback from the Allies with another Cromwell away there for Shatterhand, who's yet to go for Doctrine. Second player who has gone for Doctrine, though, is Hooligan here with Storm Doctrine. Which could open up for, well, legal anti-tank mines. I'm not seeing any as of yet. Grab the centre munition there with the Panzer Grenadier. A lot of back and forth here, some interesting moves here. We got more anti-tank mines down there. And now they're both laying down, by the way, anti-tank mines to mobilise other vehicles. In this case, he cancelled it, didn't finish. Heavy Panzer co-op for Hooligan, so he's aiming for Panthers. It looks like Lieutenant is also aiming for Panthers. Now, this is normally not something I suggest, both players going for Panthers at the same time. Usually you want, like, one to go for medium tank before aiming for Panthers at the very least. So that means you don't give your opponent too much time to bring up nastier stuff. But in this case, this might, of course, be to old Shatterhand just bringing up a lot of Cromwells already. That they just might want to get Panthers up at this stage already and just, be done with it. Again, not hugely suggestible, but I can see the logic in it. Though he needs to get the Panther when he can up here in East. Fortunately, have also that's 2 double Cromwells. Again, a single Panther 4 obviously will not stand much of a chance. Hooligan, though, could have gone for Stukes, but then again, the nature of the map to an extent could make Stukes harder. So I can see the logic of the Panthers, but again, there's a part of me thinks, something could have been out fast our way. Panther for Hooligan. Lieutenant also finally going for Panthers, so we got both German players here at the 19-minute mark going for Panthers. That could certainly, if used correctly, be quite a threat there to the Allies. And we got a tank to start out here for Bene and the 19th Infantry Division as the 11th Armour tries to break for the German lines. We've got mortar cover being laid down here on the German position by the Schwer Panther quarters. White phosphorus and regular mortar fire there threatens to envelop and murder everything. Using the Cromwell there. Mortar cover, by the way, not hitting that one. Does not care. Kenref opening up this time, though not within the sector, by the way, so it does not actually get affected by it. Bit of white phosphorus here on the lightest infant's Lego shoots and the nearby flat half track. You could actually probably have been more luck pushing up through in this regard. You know, a bit of reconnaissance from the Allies is pretty good. In fact, we got a glider going down now, and there you go. 2 Panthers arriving at the same time. You don't need to see that one very often. But they're quickly splitting up. They're to support each element as they're sort of trying to push through each side of the area here in the west. We got Grenadiers holding up in the nearby tower. I'm not entirely sure what that house's purpose is. Fighting position down. Push through the centre here. Glider landing here with commanders engaging up closely, unleashing Sten gun fire. The false Grenadiers. Not a bad choice on a map like this. Commanders will be pretty good. We got troops there taking heavy fire from the spare Panther quarters, being suppressed by 30-minute flak. Panther supporting there, and in the west we got the Panther moving up here for the Hooligan. Double Panthers. Flamethrower after go fighting for the bridge. Fire being spewed all over the place, taking hit from the anti-tankers. It is a pretty good spot there to be targeted at. And we got the Jackson holding up, they're neither hit. Panthers moving up, he pushing back the Jackson. In the east, the Germans sort of holding up there. And we got the Grenadiers rather isolated, need to retreat soon and need to get some serious support, which seems not likely. So right here, Hooligans just need to get those Grenadiers out of there before it is way too bloody late. Artillery fire running down from old Shatterhand. Artillery fire here prevents Lieutenant to move up further. Again, he could try and push up for the centre, but he's now really open. They're actually shifting the Allies to this force towards the west and east. So the centre's in fact quite open there for a big push from, say, the Lieutenant there was yet to go for the doctrine. In fact, he's now the last player to choose a doctrine. Panther getting machine gun there. Orbital Command Western's already got the machine gun. Lining up there in the ruins of the power plant. And up here we got another anti-tank gun out for old Shatterhand, or possibly in his first one. I think that was another one, he lost one previously. Bene could go for Sherman here in the meanwhile here in the east. Germans slowly breaking through. Panther moving up as well there. Flamethrower after taking direct hits, he's going up close. Rather than they're taking loss on the Panthers and the incendiary fire there. Good hit there. Got the rifle and they're running straight into the rear echelons equipped with light machine guns, and the losses are quite nasty for the Panzer Grenadier. Panther finally up, it can't support the fighting as it's too late. Again, the rather narrow street here makes it a bit difficult unless you want to move straight into the line of fire of the anti-tank and on the Jackson. So, not the best place really for Hooligan to try and push through with. I mean, again, you're probably better off just trying to make a coordinated attack with Lieutenant through the centre, where again, the defences are currently pretty much laughable. Since again, everything's being pushed towards the wings of the map. Not too bad, there's more fighting happening here. So it's not turning into so much of a meat grinder as one could have feared. It still feels at times a bit meat grindery. Panther rolling back there so far. It's there, but it's not really doing anything for Hooligan. It's just sort of driving here and there. As you try to somehow get it close to the fighting without necessarily getting yourself destroyed. Orbital line dashing forwards, but without any serious anti-tank support's going to be risky, though we got the giant Orbital West Panther damaged already, and with no Pioneers active, he's forced to wait for that, but that also means his orbital dart charge there in front of enemy tanks is not necessarily the best move there at all. But there you go, the active man baiting the Cromwells into line the fire of the Panther and the Raketenwerfer. Need to pull back the Cromwells there, old Shatterhand. Or call in some more mortar cover. There we go, Panther shifting up towards the centre, not bad. Needs to be careful there. Hooligan. Generally, you want to work with infantry when it comes to using the Panther. I really need to get around to making a video explaining how to use the Panther. Maybe that'll catch on. But generally, you do not benefit from getting a Panther up close and up. In many cases, that's not where he performs the best. He's getting a bit lucky here with the Jackson, though, but needs to still be careful with the Panther. We got a show moving in there. Just need to pull that Panther out of there now. Need to get some troops that support just in case. Shot bounce again from the Jackson. Right, Lieutenant threatening here, but gets wiped by machine gun fire there. Bit of a loss there for Bene. A veteran lieutenant dead. Cut down by the Krauts in the middle of the street. Panther pulling up again there. Bounced another shot from the Jackson. Bounced another shot. Rifle grenade there almost wipes out the captain and gets him shredded as well there. Bene is suffering huge rates of attrition amongst his officers all of a sudden here against the Germans as Hooligan is launching a rather spirited assault. But there you go, commanders flanking in with sections there. Still no upgrades, by the way, on the sections. No Bren guns whatsoever. I do feel like that is a bit of a mistake there, but old Shatterhand. Flamethrower up there trying to support. We got the flag half tank up there. Need Panther support there. Flamethrower tank not being knocked out. Pioneers arriving. Panther also flanking some on both sides to cover the explosion of the ridge of the Jackson. Big mistake there by Hooligan. Panther commanders were always instructed to keep the front towards the enemy. We got the mine here though, immobilized this Sherman, laying down the smoke to prevent the Panther from going in there easily. Panther, it also means by the Panther had to get within more effective range of the Sherman before it could deal with it. But there you go, again the mistake of exposing the reach of the Jackson. After Jackson, more chances to get low in health and then sort of increase the chance of knocking out the Panther. Hooligan is going for a replacement. Panther still not the best move there. Flag half track trying to deal with the Sherman there. Immobilized. Panther there could try and move support, but it's up here in the east. There you go, rushing west towards the centre. German, they're losing a lot of ground, a lot of equipment there. Not the best move there, I think, of Hooligan. Leaving suddenly here, Lieutenant trying to salvage the day. His centre is getting completely hammered by artillery fire and tank fire there from the Allies. Crumbling up right in front of the Panther, like Kennedy to fall back. We got heat rounds on the Panther just to increase the damage and the penetration. They're taking no chances as those Tommies, but White Phosphorus fire prevents it from firing. Again, pretty much blocking up his counterattack. They got a Cromwell flanking in behind. More White Phosphorus here. Complete disruption is the Allies. The German defences here. Mortar remaining in contact though. Grenadiers moving up here. We've got Panthers flanking in here from the west, leaving the gardens completely unguarded except for a single mortar crew. Panther rolling up of the zone there to try and engage the Cromwell. Basically moves through here, through one of the rear parks or whatever to engage. Warding most of the mortar cover, taking heavy fire then nonetheless from all the Cromwells and the anti-tank guns, suffering heavy damage, forcing that one back as well. We got German infantry trying to get behind the Allied lines, of course, confusion, mayhem, buy time to maybe restore order to the front line, but there you go. Already now, Bene's forces moving in like, I don't know, antibodies trying to deal with a Teutonic bacteria and just lock it out. He's there trying to deal with it. In the meanwhile up here, Jackson awaiting repairs. More armour though would be good for Bene, and same would also be amazing for Shatterhand, who's actually got the resources to go, you know, for Comets now, Churchill tanks, Fireflies, whatever he wants, he should go for it. There you go, hammer tactics. Panther meanwhile crushing British bodies beneath its mighty trench, as it arrives here to relieve pressure for the other Panther there. Hopefully Hooligan can keep this one alive for a bit longer and won't toss it away. We got lead armor there, obviously. We got signal relay, thusly spotting out any tank movements on the map, which can also, of course, be of help to Hooligan. So good work there by the lieutenant. Panther going to do hiding. He's using the ambush camouflage set up, sneaky little tricks there. How is this working? It's a lot of grey. Well, you know how camouflage works. It fools the mind, but we're not camouflages. Shut up, that's how camouflage works. It just works. It's magic, Otto. It's magic. And just hold on to that BAR and shoot any Tommies or Americans you see visit. Horse them down. And we got here a Sturmtiger for Lieutenant. Having lost his Schwerer punch at quarters, he can't replace immediately. He goes for the Sturmtiger to that way clear out the roads and streets and houses and basements and parks of Allies. Gunners moving up for there, taking heavy fire there, 50 calibers, pack houses and Jacksons on the way. Panther here waiting infantry to make the first push before supporting it. That's, I definitely think, a better use of the Panther there by the Lieutenant. Panther back here. Allies to an extent feel on the defense, but they never really tried to launch any big offensives to that try to outmaneuver the Germans. Granted, old Shatterhand hasn't exactly equipped himself well for that. They can soon go for the Comet. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like they're actually looking for weak spots and then try and bash through with the Germans when they hit them at times. A lot of mortar fire there. Gunners being engaged in the centre. Got M20 blasting. We got demo charges in the middle of the bloody road. In the middle of the bloody street, I suppose, and white bit there. Heavy cover there. Jump has been straight through it, taking heavy fire. Cromwell moving in there. Still waiting for a resource with the Comet there for Shatterhand. Panther moving up. This smoke screen down there blocks any further advance there for him unless he wants to get really close to them and thusly negate most of his advantage. We include largely the armour and of course his range. So good work there by old Shatterhand or Bene, whoever threw down the smoke there. Panther getting the Cromwell there, Sturmtiger ready nearby to support. taking fire there, I think, from possibly in both Panthers there, at least soon enough. There we go, almost got it. Second Panther coming in from the south. Tries, shoots, and there we go, almost got the crumble. Eventually, Fleet Panther with heat rounds as well, just for increased damage. Gets it, knocks it up. Commodore on the way there, though, for Shatterhand, but he's already suffered loss of his most veteran tank, which has just hit veteran your fleet. More heavy damage into the Comet. Panther supporting, covering fire. We got Jackson opening up on the Panther. Need to be careful there. Don't get too close. We got artillery fire called down to block any further support there from Hooligan towards Lieutenant. He's moving up the gun through the artillery fire. Bit of a mistake there, I feel like. But it's really slow. There we go. West side is now barely seeing any action, so it's not quite turning out as badly as I would have figured it could have. In East, though, we got 6 moving ahead. The Sturmtiger shoots, gets 2 commanders, but not enough. We got a lot of orbs, and they go grenade on them. Oh! Gets a single kill there, but nothing too much. Meanwhile, we got Jackson moving up for the centre. Still not enough armor. I think their Bene's really pushed through. A lot of artillery fire continues to rain down. We still got the 2 mortars from Hooligan just providing artillery support across the enemy. He's gone for a howitzer now. This is just bringing up a lot of artillery now to just that way try and beat the Allies into submission. The howitzer probably courtesy of a nearby infantry division or something. Subordinated to the 107th Panzer Brigade. Sherman Jackson moving up. There we got the Commandant here for old Shatterhand. In East we can see their Hammer hanging about waiting for repairs for Lieutenant. West side is just guarded by Panther, going to be an ambush camouflage. We also got the other squad in there, unleashing hell, appearing from behind. My God! That was crowds. How could it be? That ambush camouflage was hyper effective. 50 carbs setting up, their Panthers pushing forwards. Machine guns are plenty catching that, and the open 6 moving up. There's still no real upgrades. He's calling in a bit of artillery fire there to block up any German support there. That's not a bad idea with the Lambton. We had to grab the point. Comet moving through there. Cromwell hanging about to somehow guard the east there, though Lieutenant seems just to want to hold there, leaving most of the fighting in the centre to Hooligan. Just looking for something there you should be careful about. But there you go, damage engine on the Comet. Looks like he might have hit a mine or something, taking down to half health. There you go, Panther going in after the Comet. Needs to be careful there. Right here, though, Hooligan is again sort of committing the same mistake, which is he thinks his Panther is a Tiger Ace. Again, it's not. Its specialty lies in engaging at range, not up close. Instead, he's getting up close, and in fact, he's exposing the rear armor to the enemy, which again is a really bad idea. So, while Hooligan clearly knows how to go for a Panther, he does not seem to know how to make effective use of the Panther compared to Lieutenant, who knows how to use the Panther sort of more efficiently. And he needs to be careful he doesn't lose that one, because unlike Hooligan, who has the ability to replace his Panthers, Lieutenant does not. So that's another big loss there for Hooligan. That Panther did not do much either, compared to, you know, Lieutenant's Panther, which is now veteran T2. It's looking a bit rough there. Allies, they need to do something. They're quickly running out of victory points. Again, smoke streams there from the Allies really would do them a lot of good. That would obviously put more pressure on Bene to fight them, since old Shatterhand, as the British, does not get a lot in smoke. And this, of course, he built another mortar in place, but actually uses that one for smoke. And he could do that, but it does not seem to be very keen on that. Heavy fighting on the center, there's just turned into a brutal meat grind, artillery raining down, infantry charging through the narrow streets, trying to get past, dying out on the cobblestones. Forces also making a big push here. Overwhelming here. Bene's lone Sherman tank getting Panther files there. Germans breaking through. They've got more to cover the rain down to just stop the Germans with the sheer volume of white phosphorus and regular mortar rounds. That's definitely one way of doing it. Germans managed to somehow dodge some of it, but the question is how long can they keep dodging British artillery fire? And of course, high close to the Sherman. But there you go, anti-tanker there, recruited by Grenadiers. Stone from the British, opening up on the Sherman there, almost knocking it out there. So got the anti-tank gun there. Sturmtiger winning about here. We got troops retreating. Still got the Panthers waiting over there in ambush mode. Terrain in the centre being quite deformed here. Machine gun crew pushed away. Losses being suffered there. Mortars wiped out. Flak half track by some car. We got the Panther moving in there. And artillery running down there from the howitzer. No counter artillery so far on it. And we got another Panther for Hooligan. That is his third Panther. He's really throwing away a lot of Panthers there. I just sort of, you know, I suppose in that way is historically playing how they used the Panthers in the Panther Brigades, and a lot of them, which was not very well. I mean, they tended to not handle them very tactically because they didn't have a lot of training. As opposed, you know, that is what Hooligan potentially could be trying to recreate, that, full Panther Brigade feel of, not knowing how to handle a Panther properly. Maybe. Or he just doesn't know how to handle it and needs training. Either way, getting him the Panther, dealing some damage left and right. Jack's moving in there, close to vetching the fleet. H-Rep rounds up, trying to catch them. In this case, too much infantry in the way. Not a bad idea there. Sturmtiger still reloading. Comet falling back here. You can soon go for another one. The question is, can he get away with this one in the first place? And no, he does not. Another well-placed heat right there. Leaves it a burning hulk of metal. Another cooked up Tommy Cooker. Well, not obviously that's his nickname for the show. Unfortunately, they're wiped out by the commandos. In the west, we've got Panther being pushed back here. M20's opening up. Sections blasting well as well there. Now they're coming away for Shatterhand. Panther, flat calf tank hits there from the Jackson. Need to cover on the Sturmtiger though. Oh, smoke screen up. Sturmtiger's going to open up. Good hit there by the Jackson. Good hit. Third Panther actually around there for Hooligan. There he goes up, gets behind the Jackson. Jackson gets behind the Panther then. Close quarters hitting there. Vetching free for the Jackson. Extra rounds again. Need to pull back the Panther. Hooligan. Not far away enough, the Panther. MD42 carrying the centre. Push up the east side here by Germany for that. Seems to actually push backwards. Tactical push away from the enemy. Grenadiers remaining now here. No ambush camouflage for those Grenadiers though. Jack's going to need repairs. He's going to need more Sherman, so he's actually floating quite a bit of fuel there. A lot of fire there from the 25-pounder guns of old Shatterhand against the Allies and for zombies, and also hard fire there. So it's a bit difficult to tell who's shooting where, I think, at this point. Gunny's trying to flank in, but getting met here by a lot of fire there from the Americans. West side is now completely open by the way to the Allies. Completely open. Only a lone Panther squad there being rushed in. Sort of the only sort of stopgap there. Panther good to go. Mechanized regiment here to support the armour of the Lieutenant. Also the Hooligan. Very good work there. Sherman continuing up through here. We've got Captain Lieutenant westwards again. Bit of a disaster here for Hooligan, who did not actually do anything to defend the area. For the most part, again, just a single unit in ambush, camouflage, no mines, no bunkers, no nothing, making base then for Bene to roll down. In fact, Bene could roll through here, get up here, and then get behind the German lines. He even hit their own fuel point. Panther with Sturmtiger support moving up for the east. Something possibly got shot, but so far the Sturmtiger's not done much except just put pressure. They got half-way to effectively on the Panther, and the centre troops getting murdered. And to take us on away there, though, and here in the west, Panther rolling in on its own, crushing some man from the Lieutenant's unit. Pioneers following up there. It's not a Tiger race, Hooligan. Mortified there, that almost wipes out the entire Lieutenant squad there, and there you go, the Panther finishes them off. Coming up through the centre here.
25 points left.
25 points left. The Allies need to do something a bit more drastic soon here. Something a bit more drastic to hold down the Jays, the Huns, the Krauts. Grenade from the Comet in the centre. Got work smoke on the anti-tank gun from the Comet. Very good handling there of the smoke there from that. Very good. So good. Continue pressure fighting for the west side. Gunners moving ahead, taking fire from the Sherman there. Going to need some infantry support there. At least have the M20 rush forwards. Got the Panther moving game 8 to move westwards. Got the other Panther moving up for the centre here. Continue to mortify there. Grenadiers on their own, taking heavy losses. Panther arrives. Shoots on the Sherman, lands a good hit there with its high velocity gun before being forced to fall back since there's no support. And more importantly, nothing to spot for it, so you can't make full use of its range. Still raining down here again. Machine gun recruit. I really think, Lieutenant would benefit much from making a larger scale assault through here, trying to get behind the Allied lines through here, and that way, catching the strong point here off guard. Or if Hooligan were to do it, we'll have to see what they end up with. We got a smaller flank here, not quite as big as I would like, perfectly getting through sort of the rear streets here, but instead goes through the centre there. Straight to the commanders, though, who make very short work of the opposite, and they're not good for the Lieutenant. And we've got, what is this? A King Tiger out for the Lieutenant, and the 1 and 7th Panther Brigade bringing up some heavy armour. Jackson versus Panther. Panthers, they're being grenaded, so we actually got grenades up finally here for Bene. Good, but the Panthers need to retreat before they're wiped. Rückzug. Sturmtiger. Effects right there. We're seeing repairs alongside the Panther. Comet moving up through the centre. In the far east there again. Flak half track awaiting repairs. Awaiting action, I guess, more safe to say. Old Shatterhand might be setting up for another Comet at this point. He might be better off considering a Firefly to help deal with the Panthers or whatever else. Or Comets rather, I think, trying to wait for a Comet. But I think a Firefly here should be the priority for old Shatterhand. Meanwhile, King Tiger, Storm Tiger, moving up here. We got Commandos grabbing the eastern victory point. They've actually got control of all three. They're down to 14 victory points, so it's going to be pretty close. Panther there, still almost good to go. It's almost virtually free as well, which is pretty damn good if it hits there, and pretty damn bad for the Allies if it hits there. Sturmtiger that shoots and does nothing remotely impressive. Again, it's mostly just there, I suppose, for the psychological pressure it puts on it, because you're going to be then slipping up again, you lose an entire unit, so you're forced to just be more focused everywhere, and that can of course cause you to slip up elsewhere. A5 there. A lot of Shermans now on the way for Bene. A bit late, I feel like. A bit late. Also a bit late, he finally makes a break for them in the west, but at least there's something happening there. Mines laid down. Panther could be flanked. There's going to need some tank destroyers and more Shermans here to really sort of make any bigger effect here. Comet moving up through here. Could be sort of a big assault there. We got the Panther moving in to maybe block off any movement. There we go. Sherman versus Panther here. Panther is going to do this now, actually acting as a screen. Good, he can actually soon also go for another Panther. Panther moving up for here, taking heavy loss out on the Americans and the British. Panther there versus Comet. Artillery firing back and forth. There we go. Heat rounds up again on the Panther. There's the Comet. Comet's not going to make it out of that one. Anti-tank another round here, flying HVAP or anti-personnel. I'm using rounds, I mean. On the anti-tank, then falls back. The Panther, he does gain veteran free. He does gain veteran free. There you go. More armor support around in the west, but seems like he's going to try and make through with it. Instead, seems to be sort of slowly boiling down here. Perhaps they don't want to extend and lose control or risk losing control of the victory points. Smoke's getting artillery called in again. He just keeps calling in just to keep blocking them from moving straight on the victory point there. I mean, that's definitely a way of doing it. If you got the munitions, you can keep on doing it. And he basically is getting 47 per minute. So, in theory, as soon as he cooled down, he can just call in another barrage. I mean, that's definitely a way of doing it. Armor hanging back there. Plus, they're making a move for the point despite all of the artillery being locked through. The being got white phosphorus called in from the pack howitzer, catching up the Panthers. They're forcing the way. Second Panther on the way for Hooligan and the 107th Panther Brigade. Certainly has committed a lot of Panthers in this engagement. Certainly served the loss of the most itself by Hooligan. Panthers seeing repairs. King Tiger through here again. He should consider just tag up for their flank. But good work by Able Lieutenant. Actually, Brew betraying the victory point. Very good. Sehr good, as they will say. Anti-tank gun Panther up there, but with no real infantry support, that's a bit risky. There you go. Direct hit. Don't expose to free again, Hooligan. Haven't you learned anything? There we go. Anti-tank supporting though. He had some good hits in the Jackson at T3. Second Panther almost done there for Hooligan. Almost. King Tang moving for the centre straight into the Fireflies. He did actually get a Firefly. Good, good. And another Panther for Hooligan. That would be his fourth Panther. So a total of 5 Panthers this engagement. Or battle. 5 Panthers total from the German. And again, 4 of them from Hooligan because he kept getting them knocked out. Panther taking hits, needs to be careful, Graham on the rest of the victory point. No immediate counter response there from the Allies, a bit risky though. And moving in towards the east, but forced away from the point because there's too many guns actually watching it. Trying to crawl through the centre, we got mortar fire there. White Force was preventing the Panther from firing. Good work there, good work. I think that's a pack out of base just hammering it with White Force to prevent any tank just being able to move from fire there since any tank can't shoot. We got Panther moving up here in the west. Lots of heavy fighting here across now. Tanks moving up through the east, centre, and west. A lot of tank movement there. Stormtiger falling back. OD is going to need armour support. There's no armour support in the east here. There's a chance of a breakthrough by the Allies if they can go through fast enough. If they can. Kenneth needs to be dealt with there pretty aggressively. White Force was on it. Shermans are dealing with the flat half track. Stormtiger shoots, gets one of the Shermans, immobilizes the other. Disaster strikes on the right flank for the Allies at the same time. The west side is collapsing, forcing Bene out, and the centres also collapsed under German intense pressures over this. I think everything is lost to the Allies. And, oh dear. Sherman there completely knocked out, leaving only a Comet there for them. Firefly long gone. Panthers there dominating the centre alongside the Grenadier Squad and the Panther there. Other Panther moving down here in the west. Promote support here in the far west. Panther, King Tiger now moving up. And there you go. GG. Game over. A loss for the Allies. A loss for the 11th Armoured support here by the 19th Infantry Division. Destroyed by the 1 and 7th Panzer Brigades with support from other elements including an Infantry Division and some bits there. So a brutal fight here on a map here, which again possibly holds promise, but again I do feel like they need to clear up the west a bit here. I feel like the west part of the map is a bit of a weak spot in a sense, but overall I think it was an interesting fight to an extent there. An interesting fight with a lot of stuff going on. Mortar emplacement, smoke, white phosphorus. I would like more regular smoke though. Artillery fire, tanks aplenty, some flanks. Again, there could have been more flanks from both sides and both, you know, on the eastern side with a bit more pressure. In that regard, I feel like the odds extent were too timid, too passive. And old Shatterhand could have benefited from either more commandos or, you know, some Bren guns on his forces earlier on, or some grenades. There's definitely some slight problems there, I think. But overall, brutal fight here. So I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, want to subscribe to your friends, just share it with everyone. Also, big thanks to my Patreon pledges, or supporters, who of course allow me to do this day after day. Big thanks to all of you. You are what makes allow me to do this. And of course, if you'd like to support, links in the video description. You can do so either PayPal or Patreon if you wish to support in a more long-term basis. So thank you all for joining in. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you didn't, subscribe, like, share, and comment on it. This is Imperial Dane signing off, and see you all tomorrow for another signing episode. Bye.